Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live, and welcome back to the Rethink Tank Live. Today, we've got a movie for you. I think you may have seen it before. Weekend at Mitch's. Buckle up, because it's a curious situation we got going on. If the guy's healthy and well, and you're sending AI videos that make him look healthier than ever, then you should just be skipping him down Main Street. But for some reason, nobody's seen him in like 40 days. What would be the political strategy behind that? Well, buckle up. We've got that and a whole lot more. Welcome back to the Rethink Tank Live. Like I said, we got a peculiar situation going on, and people keep screaming, where is Mitch McConnell? And the powers that be keep saying, he's right here. You're just not looking.
I'm alive. I'm dead. I'm watching TV. I'm looking at you. Fuck you. I'm dead again. I'm up. I can run faster than a bitch around the house.
You never know where he's going to be. I guess he's doing fine. You just don't know. Well, someone I'd like to click to real quick is Desiree Townsend. You know, if it isn't for journalists like this that keep their finger on the pulse and, they're just a pesky spine in the side of the machine, she's forcing light and transparency on a situation that they're like, stop looking and stop asking questions. So here we are on the daily update. She's been probably the center journalist covering this story, and as it continues to snowball and curiosities increase, she's kind of found herself at the center of the story.
Desiree Townsend here again outside of George Washington University Hospital for day 31 of the medical miracle. Mitch McConnell, his Capitol Police detail is still parked outside of the hospital here, and in fact we have a heavy presence of Secret Service here today as well. So I'm unsure if that's for Senator McConnell. It'd be odd to have Secret Service, but you never know. I will put up some of the clips.
What's the secret you're hiding?
Clips that I caught earlier. Secret Service dropped off a walker, so that's what kind of led me to think that maybe they were here for Senator McConnell. But again, it's very odd. Secret Service is usually for presidents, vice presidents, and former presidents as well.
Well, and it is odd because you're a cuckoo face. Of course he's fine. He's out here dancing like a king. He doesn't even need a walker. The man can walk out on himself. He's fine. Nothing to see here. He's ready to serve. He's got his vote ticket. Desiree?
So I would have never guessed 1 week ago that we would be swearing in today an interim senator that was not set to replace Senator Mitch McConnell. I'll say it again. This guy is a miracle. Such a miracle, in fact, that he survived the impossible.
See? Yeah, survive the impossible. Which you don't know what you're saying. I told you I'm fine.
EMS dispatch audio. So you may remember the audio, which documented multiple back and forth calls with EMS crews and paramedics and dispatch responding to an unconscious person. Then someone radioing back saying that patient at that same address was in cardiac arrest. When they arrived, they were then engaging in CPR, followed by the dispatcher radioing a second time his address with an updated cardiac arrest response. Based on Elaine Chow's, Senator McConnell's statement and the definitely not photoshopped older photo of him and his wife, who basically abandoned him for weeks for a China vacay.
Not to forget.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. This is the image. Like, guys, he's fine. You're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. This is the photo they show. What's crazy is bro in the chair right now looks healthier than he's looked in person for the last year, let alone 2 months in Congress.
He's looking good right there. A lot better than you'd expect.
We just reported him like 3 weeks ago, spacing out during a congressional hearing. Now he's happy as a clam. And let's also acknowledge his wife right there. As soon as something happened to him and he had cardiac arrest, did she hop in the ambulance, hold his hand, go to the hospital? I'm going to meet you there, baby. No, she went to Hong Kong. What?
She need her handler.
Yeah, the Chinese handler honeypot, I guess, needed to go check in with the handlers. What's going on here?
She had to figure out who she goes to next.
You know what I love about the depth and thoroughness of the internet? You know, the human hive never strikes out. Bats 1,000. Another interesting thing that came from this photo, Doug, they zoomed in on the newspaper not only is this a paper that's years old, but if you zoom in, none of that is actual English. 2024 players that look at like rookie class. It becomes jumbled letters. Look at right here, NFL draft in a look at he's got a Steelers logo on his baseball helmet.
AI.
And then it's talking about the 2024 NFL draft, and then those letters just become jumbled up, symbols essentially. So yeah, peculiarities. Desiree's right.
In statement, I suppose, are trying to allude to the dispatcher and the paramedics maybe lying, or all of them being wrong in their references to this patient at his address.
Wait, Desiree, you are wrong. Get back to it.
Honey, show them you're okay.
Bro is fine. Desiree, you are wacko cuckoo. Look at that.
AI is so much fun.
He is spry like a young cat, like a kitten. All right, Desiree.
Maybe there just was another patient there that went into cardiac arrest. But
Maybe.
The truth of the matter is he's clearly still here after 31 days in rehabilitation. Obviously, because rehabilitation for being found unconscious without a concussion, broken bones, or a heart attack normally takes over a month to recover from. And boy, do senators have great taxpayer-funded insurance. I bet his constituents back in Kentucky wish they could give their 84-year-old parents 31 days of inpatient rehab at a hospital like George Washington University for a minor fall. Nonetheless,
Doug just wants to be a resident at the hospital.
the question now is,
quite
what
a bit.
is he rehabbing for? He was rolled around Capitol Hill in a wheelchair, and based on the definitely not AI photo he released, his training should be complete. He's ready to hit the Senate floors in that wheelchair, this time with a seatbelt, so he doesn't fall down again.
Hey, I don't like you saying that in jest, okay? He is ready to hit that Senate seat, and he isn't being wheeled out on his wheelchair. He's rolling out on his own wheels, baby. Here he is leaving the hospital, hot as a spry kitten, Mitch McConnell.
Oh, yeah. Shred that gnar.
Hit it. Oh, wait, those aren't wheels. It's a weenie dog. Hey.
I know those.
Hey, hold up. Come here.
Getting the beast all riled up.
I'm going to ride you home after the episode today. Yeah, you're going to be put to the challenge. You think you can handle it? This is misdemeanor. This is the first time she's been able to be in the studio and be quiet. We're testing it. I don't like leaving her at home. So I'm going to ride you home after today's episode, okay? Okay. Back to it. Okay. I think he's looking good, don't you, Doug? Riding a wiener dog out the hospital?
Quite alive.
Quite alive. That's the key. That's what alive looks like. Woo! I love it. But sticking to the meat of the matter, friend of the show, favorite, I want to get to Tim Burchett from Tennessee. He had some comments on the matter. Things are weird. And leave it to Tim Burchett to call the sky blue, the grass is green. This is kooky.
Days after McConnell went to the hospital, his wife, Elaine Chao, flew to China to meet with the Chinese vice president.
Cue it.
China.
Where'd the wife go?
China. You go over to China. You take China. China. I love them. China. I have to have my China. China because China. You know,
I bet you didn't know we could have that many Chinas lined up, but we did. Anyway, we continue.
It's been great to see you. What do you think is going on here?
I think her ties to China have been suspect for a long time in the transportation world, and serving on transportation. That always raised an eyebrow for me. But nothing happens in this town by accident. Of course, I'm in Tennessee. Things happen by accident down here, but nothing in Washington ever happens by accident. It's just it's a cover up on top of a cover up, and that's why nobody trusts.
Isn't it always?
What's going on in Washington? This whole thing is a farce. I think a lot of people have some ideas about what's going on. There's a timeline of elections when they would occur, and you're right. You know, how can you be critical of Joe Biden wandering around the White House, not knowing, looking for the soft serve ice cream machine for 4 years when you can't be critical of this? So yeah, it's in our own party. But it goes, and that proves my point about the deep state. This town is just Washington D.C. is just a large man-made sewer, and we rarely stir it. We just let it sit there and stink, and we don't drain it. And this is what continues to happen time and time again.
That's a total lie. Tim Burchett, you don't know what you're talking about. This is the integrity of DC. He's just fine. We're not trying to Ruth Bader Ginsburg your asses again. If anybody doesn't get that reference, let me cue you in. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was totally dead for at least a month, if not a couple months, before her actual announcement. And it was when there was a congressional demand to show her existence. Why? Because they were holding out whether or not she had passed, because if she died before a certain time, Donald Trump would get to appoint a new Supreme Court justice, which they were trying to avoid in hopes of getting the next election. So they were hiding this fact until it was congressionally pushed to where they had to. Well, this is part 2, weekend at Mitch's. And Tim Burchett, like I said, is calling a spade a spade. And then we wonder why nobody trusts DC. Well, it's because this is a same playbook they play again and again. Cool image here. I want to at least bring into the fold. The office of the governor of Kentucky wrote a letter demanding Senator Mitch McConnell prove his existence on this plane. Dear Senator McConnell, this was, do we have a date? Yeah, July 8th. So this was right after our Tuesday episode last week. Still no true action. Dear Senator McConnell, over the last several weeks, Kentuckians have grown increasingly concerned about the current state of your health and well-being and ability to hold office in the United States Senate. As governor, I request that you fully update Kentuckians regarding the current status of your health. As public officers, we have made a commitment to our constituents to do our best to represent them and to always be transparent. I believe this requires clear communication about one's ability to serve. We wish you a safe and speedy recovery. That being said, it was this letter that prompted the phony picture here, but as the comments pointed out, Charlie over here also stated, it's already been proven to be AI. Like every AI vetting software declares this to be AI, but the White House says it isn't, so you just got to take it. Spoon. I mean, come on. If that photo isn't enough proof, here he is again, fine with all his homies in the hospital. Everybody's good. What else do I have to show you?
I want to be in that hospital room. I want to be there. I want to meet.
We could put you.
I want to meet 3 of the 4 people there, and you can assume which ones.
Hey, Doug, I can put you there with all of them. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa. Hey, everyone heard that. If anything happens to me, you know where to look.
You were asking for it, Doug. You wanted to go. I'll send you right there to their lap.
Creepy.
Getting back to, they're trying to Ruth Bader Ginsburg your ass, right? They're telling you he's fine. Why would he do that? What is the political incentive of a man passing and them not fessing up right away? Well, someone else had opinions on this, and he's a rascal. He kind of causes some trouble for these folks, and they don't like him. But he had some thoughts on it, and I'm curious. I wonder if he might have something to do with why there's a political game going on.
Last question. As a Kentuckian, were you convinced by Chairman McConnell's photo with the newspaper from the hospital bed.
Well, you know, I had a 20-minute conversation, nearly 20 minutes with Senator McConnell. And,
wait, really? Or no? Okay.
And he said we should stop spying on Americans, quit bankrupting the country, and stop starting these new wars. And he expressed, his sadness that I lost my primary. But it appears that a lot of people had those 20-minute conversations.
Everybody's having 20-minute conversations with McConnell.
We just need to start having them publicly.
Right.
Everybody's having conversations with him. He said he would give me $1 million.
We got to see what's in the rule.
They just need to start having these conversations publicly.
I love that.
Everybody's saying, oh yeah, I spoke to him. Oh yeah, I spoke to him. So I love, what a way to troll it. Yeah, I spoke to him too. And he said, we shouldn't conjoin our military with God's chosen people. And we should, stop spying on Americans. But we should start having these conversations publicly. Mint. All right, so let's get to the meat of it. Why would they hide the fact that Mitch McConnell has passed? Inside politics here. If Mitch McConnell dies before August 12th, his Senate seat then becomes a special election. Okay, so Thomas Massie lost his primary seat for a representative in Kentucky because God's chosen people flushed in over $30 million to rig our elections. And now if Mitch McConnell passes before August 12th, they can turn his Senate seat into a special election where Thomas Massie can run as an independent and would sweep the election. And if you thought he was a thorn in their side when he was a representative, senators are just a little bit more powerful. So that's the game going on here. They spent $30 million to keep the most dangerous patriot out of politics, and it worked for now. And yet the puppet they've been keeping alive is on skin and bone. It's on its last thread. You ever see Hercules? Those three evil witches are like on its last thread. They're about to snap them. And then it becomes a special election. That's the political investment here. And that's the bigger game being played. So once you start seeing the incentives, it really starts painting the larger picture. Now, never thought I'd be here, but we're going to kind of close out this whole Mitch McConnell consideration with an interview that comes from Asiago Cortez, of all people. I know I'm just as shocked as you are, but she makes some great points, and it's coming fresh out of today. They caught her leaving Congress in D.C., and she had some points about Mitch McConnell that I think hold some validity.
Can just go missing without explanation. Not just Mitch McConnell. You had another member here that was just gone for 4 months and didn't tell anyone where they were, no whereabouts, no transparency. I mean, this is it. I don't even know how this is legal. I really don't even know how this is legal. Things do happen, people get into medical incidents. If you're in the hospital, you're in the hospital, but I do think that there should be some sort of, there's a line here, and I think almost everyone can agree that it's been crossed. This is not normal. This is not normal at all.
Well,
I can't believe I actually agree with things she said.
But she's right. It ain't normal. I want to look at Billy Bob's comment here as well. Anyone remember Dianne Feinstein? I mean, that was another... It keeps happening. She's like, this shouldn't be normal. This isn't normal. Bitch, this is our politics now. This is just another Tuesday. Anyone remember Dianne Feinstein coming back in a wheelchair, then saying she's never left D.C., then died a week later? Again, they keep Ruth Bader Ginsburg in your ass, and you keep playing the game. You're playing the game. Understand the larger chess game here, okay? They are doing everything in their power to keep out Thomas Massie, and the ruse is not going to last much longer. And guess what? Time is anything but on our side. You're telling me I have a month I'll sit here every day.
It's called a
poking at the
filibuster.
Well, but even more so, you think all you have to do is stall till August 12th. There are too many days between now and August 12th for this to go totally unnoticed and unaddressed. Every day they will be calling for his existence, and every day you will have to proactively hide his passing. Yes, Doug.
Especially, too, I love the fact that the governor was calling them out. You know, it's like once it gets to that level, the governor is the one who kind of has control over those people up there. You know, he's the one who can really force that hand.
Right.
And I love it. Love it.
I really do want to kind of push this subject a little bit more because Brad Richardson makes a good comment here. Alex, how was the Oval Office meeting with Mitch and Trump? LOL. Kind of insinuating, hey, there's some BS here too we're sniffing. But maybe they did. Maybe they did. Maybe he's getting better. Let me make a bigger comment on this political issue we're stuck wrestling. Because his heart beats, is he fit to serve? Sit on that for a second. Because his heart beats, does that mean he's fit to serve? Some would say you'd need at least a little bit more
mental capacity.
Yeah, I was about to say cognitive ability might be a little bit of a requirement. When you tested in graduate school, you're in your mid-20s and you're amongst your sharpest up until, let's say, your mid-30s, early 40s. Now you're 70, 80 years old. Okay, I'm not saying you have to pass the same 6-hour exams you were able to at 35. You damn well should. You should. I should be able to hold you there, but I won't. I'm not cruel. I won't say you have to be the level of sharpness you were when you were 35 or even 40. But you should be sharper than the crayon kids, right? Right? You should be sharper than the short bus, right? You should be sharper than the kids eating the soap, right? So is it, well, they just got to prove he's got a heartbeat? Or should there be some standard or level of cognition and expectation from somebody who's going to, I don't know, represent millions in a state? Millions. Mind you, we just got off of last week highlighting how Trump degraded a Democrat staffer for pointing out that there were 3 people still lined up to testify at a congressional meeting, and he was brain dead, about to close the meeting, and he goes, whoa, sir, wait. And he's like, well, apparently there's more, but I got to go potty, so I'm going to leave you guys. I'm confused and got to go potty.
Yeah,
and then he left, and then somebody else took over as leading the congressional meeting.
Yeah, I didn't know you could just leave a congressional meeting. I thought that was kind of your job. I mean, aren't most of the year you just sitting on your ass in an office somewhere? I mean, when you're actually in a meeting, that's where the shit gets done.
Listen, we've all been disappointed by seeing our local council people meet, and it's one thing for Suzanne to sneak out the back as they're debating, I don't know, commercial zoning. But when you're leading the congressional meeting, like you're the chairperson with the gavel, and you're like, we're adjourning because my butt's leaking in my diaper. And they're like, sir, there's still 3 more people that need to testify. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going poo. That's a problem. You're the one with the gavel. Doug.
I mean, this is just more reason to have a term limit for senators. Because,
dude, if we run out of reasons,
when you've been in there that long, I grant you, some people still got it, but a lot of the problems we're running into are the people at this age. And, you know, if they had term limits, they probably wouldn't have been there that long, and then we wouldn't have to worry about a corpse being in office.
But see, that comment, yeah, true. I should also have $1 million more in my bank account. There's a lot of things we all should have, and that would make life a lot better. We need to acknowledge that it ain't ever coming, because they're the ones voting on our behalf. It's one of those, we have a group chat, right? Of all our fantasy friends.
Constitutional amendment too. And but even before it gets us, they'd have to approve their own term
but
limit.
you've got, our fantasy football group chat. And then Foster jumps out of nowhere. He's like, they need term limits. Every political science theory class has come up with this 10 times over. We know that. And now, listen, it ain't coming. So you either are going to have to make it happen or live within the bounds of it never coming. I mean, it's just our political reality. Part of the game now is keeping carcasses alive so the timing falls perfectly because they die in office. That's the thing now. And it's because they're career politicians. It shouldn't even be like you age out. No person should be there longer than two terms, period. That's it. 350 million people in this tribe. 1 million people, 1 million units, 1 million marbles, 1 million units. Just the number 1 million is so large, you literally cannot comprehend it. We have an understanding it big, but we literally cannot comprehend 1 million, let alone 350 million. I can promise you there's more than one that represents your will and what the interest of your family is. We could cycle through these bad boys like they're nothing. And part of the problem isn't just you're there too long. The other part of the problem is you get to remain because now you've got those DC networking connections that will buy you the elections in perpetuity. You get to remain here insofar as you protect glyphosate. You cover Pfizer's interests. It always comes back to we've got the money, and as long as you cover our interests, you've got the job in perpetuity. And that's what we're up against, Doug. But even more so, this isn't just Nancy Pelosi and old bags staying in their role too long. This one's got sprinkles and an extra cherry on top, and it's that they spent over $30 million to hijack democracy in Kentucky and strip Thomas Massie of the Democratic opinion of his district. And nature calls. Nature calls and is going to give that opportunity right back to him. That's the political investment incentive in fighting and diminishing and hiding what's going on with Mitch McConnell. Because they're playing the waiting game and trying to stall till August 12th. And baby cakes, I don't think you can keep a ruse up that long. You're going to have to do a Biden and put a guy in a rubber mask. And I don't think a guy can act that creeper of the crypt.
Turtle-like.
Turtle.
Yeah, master of disguise. He could do it. We've
Oh,
seen
man.
it. We saw it on
Look
TV.
at you, Doug. You're onto something. You never know. So my final thoughts are, I'd really love it if, I love a good blessing. And so I would love it if I was proven wrong, but my heart tells me he's gone and we're being Ruth Bader Ginsburg and they're trying to just wait out the clock. And the prize at the end of this is a potential Senate seat for their biggest problem. This is a good place to be seated. I'm just saying. And if I'm totally wrong and it's just a health scare, then we just keep our prayers up that he recovers. And in a full recovery, we're just back to the status quo. All good things, right? All good things. They're all being puppeted anyways. Yeah, I guess that is just where all the chips fall. It all shit rolls downhill and we're at the bottom of it. Okay. Doug, anything else on Mitch? I'm going to move on.
No. I mean, we nailed it. I mean, like, we've all had our questions for a long time. We still have questions. I don't think we really have any real answers.
Definitely no answers. But speaking of fallen soldiers with no answers, more anomalies and holes we got to deal with, because as Brad Richardson points out, why is it all old centers just keep falling? Well, this one's a heart attack, and definitely not a nuclear missile in Ukraine. It was a heart attack. Can we get Senator Lindsey Graham on here for a memoriam? I mean, this is a sad moment. Oh, not the one of this single male with a young child's princess toy at Disney World by himself. Not that one. Make the political. Give him his flowers.
I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package that would give tools to President Trump to help end this war.
This was his speech he gave in D.C. prior to leaving to Ukraine. Interesting situation that occurred there. But we're being told that Lindsey Graham had passed away in his sleep from a heart attack, and that there's nothing else to see here. This was a speech he had given in Ukraine following the one that we just saw.
We've reached agreement with the White House on a version of the Russian sanctions bill that they will support. It means it's going to become law. So when I get back to Washington, I'm going to go with Senator Blumenthal to the Republican and Democratic leader to see if we can find time to move this Russian sanctions package.
Anyway, moving forward from there, we now see there's a little anomaly, and I don't know what to make of this. It's being debunked and said not to be worth your consideration or time. There was this missile attack in Ukraine. So an arms factory in Ukraine was blown up, and people are finding it peculiar that the day he took this picture, smiling ear to ear with a ballistic drone that's going to kill people, there's zero chance that it happened to him.
Someone definitely forgot to turn off the geotag.
This is him meeting with Zelensky, the other good folks, the Boss Baby. We're supposed to say that has no relevance to this situation. However, as the internet does, they're ripping the math apart, and nothing about this seems like it's possible for him to make it from Ukraine and get in his house to pass away on time. Because believe it or not, it actually takes some time to fly from Ukraine to die in your living room. It's a wild scenario, but I'm going to jump a little bit ahead here to ex-CIA Larry Johnson, because he just points out the math don't math.
Through the timeline. If everything's normal, he arrives normally in Kyiv because, that's how they do it. They, in fact, the United States pre-coordinates with Russia so they don't attack the trains. And Russia in the past has not attacked those trains. So he arrives in Kyiv, he meets with Zelensky. At some point, there's video footage of him going through this drone factory, and he's holding up one of the drones, smiling, because it's, it's sort of shaped like a dildo. So that he may have had some other thoughts going through his mind with respect to the drone. But let's say, for whatever reason, it was urgent, so that he had to get back. Unless you're being medically evacuated, they're not going to bring in a military aircraft to haul you out of there on a normal visit. And so it was either he went the normal route on the train back to Poland, which is at least 10-hour ride, maybe a little longer. Then you catch a plane, and the plane coming back to the United States is at least 10 hours. Bigger headwinds could make it 11. So that's the normal route. And I'm saying if he just did a normal, this is quick in and out, he still got home after the time that he supposedly died at home. So it's sort of tough to die at home when you're not at home. So we're not sure what happened. All I can tell you is the story that's been put out by the U.S. government is a lie. That much we know.
Well, like I said, there's some peculiarities, and it's seeming like he wouldn't have been able to make it back in time. However, that's not what the White House is telling you, and they've got some tears to shed. Apparently, the people are saying on the internet this is the closest they've ever heard Trump get to choking up, as Donald Trump reacts to the passing of his good friend, Lindsey Graham.
Tell us, Mr. President, how you received this news and your immediate gut reaction when you heard it.
So what makes it even stranger is that I got a call last night sometime at, the early evening, maybe in the 7s, and he called and he said, we're all set for the Save America Act. He was pushing the Save America Act like crazy. He got back, said he just landed from Ukraine. I said, that's a long trip to make. And he said, he sounded a little tired, but perfect, but a little bit tired. I had a right to be. And he was a worker. He was really a worker. But he sounded great, actually. But he actually said he was tired. But he wanted to pass the Save America Act. And I said, well, we're going to get it done, Lindsey. We're going to get it done. I'll see you like.
How crazy is that Trump uses his last condolence to his friend as a commercial for his crappy Save Act?
Soon we thought maybe we might even meet today. And then that was it. And that was, very around the time. It couldn't have been much longer. It could have been his last call. I don't know exactly, but I got a message about 1 o'clock in the morning from one of the people at his office that he had passed away. I said, I just can't believe it. He was like a member of the family to me. It's very tough, actually. It's amazing.
Mr. President,
he was such an advocate. He was, if he wanted to get something, and he had a unique ability. He was able to deal with Democrats and Republicans. If I had a problem, a real problem, I wouldn't often ask. But if I had a problem with a Democrat, he could work it out. He was a great politician, actually.
He was a great politician, and as all the boomer heads are telling me we should be mourning, they're like, this is an American hero. He cared about Americans. I mean, he cared about Americans so much. I want you to watch these clips of him putting America first. He would never have a heart for another country's agenda or the diplomacy of another nation. He puts Americans first.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
That's
a lot of pluses.
Plus. I mean, again, he's a patriot. Shut up.
You can thank Donald Trump and Elon Musk for that. I've been going all over South Carolina like most people. I hadn't slept much. But look what's going on in Israel. Our friends in Israel are surrounded by people that want to kill them, destroy them, a second Holocaust in the making. And Biden says be proportional. What is the proportional response to people who want to kill you and your family? God. They're running out of ammunition in Israel. We have to help our friends to keep the war over there from coming here. They're willing to.
Yeah, and then we wonder why USAID was able to get away with so much fraud with all that money aid that was sent to the Carolinas. Hey, no big deal. He puts America first. We lost a patriot. I'm going to cut to a real patriot, someone that the boomer, unless it's spoon-fed to them by cable news, they can't see it, so they're not going to see who the real patriot here. However, we can at least attempt. Anyway, real patriot, MTG.
I disagreed wholeheartedly with many of his policies. He was a neocon warmonger. He was a murderer. He wanted to wipe out and kill many innocent people in Iran, in Gaza, in Lebanon. He supported war more than anything. He never wanted peace. The only time he may have been interested in peace was because this war is hurting the midterms for President Trump and Republicans. However, one thing about Lindsey Graham that we can all say for sure is he was a dedicated Zionist. And that's why he worked so diligently to send as much money as possible, weapons as possible for Israel. But he was also, he may have been an elected U.S. senator, but he really was the greatest lobbyist.
Dude, I better not ham it up too much because this Rode microphone in front of me might pop and blow up.
That the military industrial complex could ever have holding power in Washington. And his state, South Carolina, has over 400 military contractors, over 400 that Lindsey Graham made sure that got all types of contracts, grants, got all types of U.S. tax dollars to continue their work to serve the military industrial complex. So it is an interesting thing of how everyone's being shamed and told you can't say anything negative about Lindsey Graham. Look, we can say two things. We can say, oh yeah, he was a delightful person to be around, but at the same time, I disagreed with him adamantly on many, many issues. And it's okay to say both of those things.
He was delightful. He was delightful. Why was he delightful? Aren't they all delightful?
Hey, Lindsay, why don't you just admit that you're gay and then people won't blackmail you anymore?
I think that's the one that I think that's my favorite Lindsey Graham in DC video. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I did. What do we? But again, guys, it's conclusive. I don't know what else to tell you. Clear as day, there's nothing else to see here. It isn't the fact that, I don't know, Putin called Trump's bluff and made us look weak and foolish on the public stage. Let me give you a theory here. Maybe it's potential. In a world where the Americans have exhausted the vast majority of their military resources and funding for a foreign nation and their BS agenda, in a world where, let's just say, theoretically that happened, because that didn't happen here and there'd be no reason for us to consider it. So in theory, let's just say that were to be the case. And then Vladimir Putin goes and blows up Donald Trump's right-hand lackey as he goes to a missile factory in Ukraine. Almost to call his bluff, like, you guys showing the world, showing Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un and all the rest bad actors in the world arena that, hey, remember the big bully on the playground that you couldn't even push without being obliterated? Well, we're not just pushing, we're shoving. We're really making head. And nothing. Trump is actually going to bury it and pretend he died in a heart attack just because he actually doesn't have the resources to do anything about it. That's one way of looking at it. Because why would you? I mean, that clearly wouldn't be the case because it's conclusive. I mean, it's so conclusive, we had to send 40 more FBI agents to the residence today just to make sure we didn't miss anything, because it's so darn conclusive. I mean, let's fast forward a little bit here. I mean, it's been an entire agent hub all day today because it's so darn conclusive. I do want to say real quick,
I didn't know the FBI spent so much time on something that was supposed to be so set.
Well, I mean, you trotted out Dr. Puppet, Dr. Oz, and he was on the news going, explaining how it works with a paper towel roll,
This is his cardiovascular vessel, and it's when it gets crushed, and then it gets so crushed that the pressure.
I'm literally, I should not do the impression so you could get it clearly. Then it gets crushed, and then it pushes all of the white blood cells until they start pushing through the walls, And then the blood's coming through the walls to the point where now your vessels can't take the blood where it needs to go, and then you die. And then you got Trump on the news going, the science is clear. The science showed it popped. The vessel popped. It exploded inside him. What? So that's the medical science behind it, and you should just shut up and take it. However, we really didn't cover these much on the show in the past, but I know the world we're socially aware of them. Isn't that weird that the state of Iran tries to use propaganda? There's literally one propaganda technique that's getting through to the American public, and it's making AI Lego videos. And every single one, when a political social event happens, every single one resonates with the American public because we're being lied to by the state. We all know the truth, and the only resource that's providing us a reflection of that truth, again, is the state of Iran with weird Lego AI videos. That being said, I want to know who in the state of Iran is making these. Like, in what sandy building are they like, hey, put in the prompt. This is what we need. And then what are they tweeting it? I don't know. I don't know how these things are getting out, but it's blowing up. Here's the recent Lego video about the Lindsey Graham situation. They're implying there was an assassin.
Like the Lego theme, I'm intrigued.
And that it actually happened at his house. Ooh, who's the hooded figure? Similar back to the don't forget this. Like, this is real shiz. I do love that he's in this thing with a baby doll. Like, what a weirdo.
Looks like it was Dr. Doom.
Now this is where it gets really weird. So the person that did the thing walks over and checks off the name, the assassin did the thing, and there's Laura under it. And the internet's going crazy that this is an implication for Laura Loomer. And so Laura Loomer's been having some thoughts, whatever. Well, late this afternoon, another video comes out. And Iran wanted to make it clear they are definitely talking about Laura Loomer.
You wanted the strike. You wanted the smoke. Then you saw the poster. Bullseye Loomer, look who froze. Love the red dots till one got close. Beg for the bomb from a safe little room. Now you stare at the poster like it knows your doom. Bullseye Loomer, panic online. Loved every target to one crossed your line. Graham went down, now you read every sign. Bullseye Loomer,
right?
You told
Dude, it is crazy that world politics are battling through propagandized kid toy videos, right? Like, this is a kid toy that they're relating to the American public through and making these like almost cinematic type videos.
Strike when the mourners convene. Turn the funeral into a
really cheap and easy to make Lego.
Stuff. All you need to do is have a Claude subscription, and all you're doing is hitting a bunch of prompts.
A bombing scene, cheered every hit from a studio chair till Tehran raised your picture in the air. Wanted regime change, wanted Iran torn, watching everyone.
Did AI create the song too?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Watch out. Now every little shadow got you checking the street. You loved the fire when the fire stayed far. Loved every missile like a rising star.
This is sick, I can't lie.
Symbol came near, that war hawk voice disappeared into fear. Every post was hit them, every clip was more. Every death overseas was a content score. Then consequence knocked and the tone went thin. Funny how courage changes when your name gets in. Now it's Russia, now Iran, now investigate fast. Suddenly every threat comes back from the past. You sold paranoia, made panic your trade. Now you're trapped in the fear that your own mouth made. You your brand, putting names on blast. Calling for purges, demanding them fast. Now one printed image got you losing your nerve. You order the heat, now you hate what they serve. Sacred defense. You wanted war. Now you fear the poster.
I want to know the prompt.
Sacred defense.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
That was like, you know, if I were her, I'd be a little more concerned. Me seeing that, it was actually pretty effing cool. Like that was, I want to know the AI prompt you used to create something.
Doug,
like
they've
that.
been doing tons of these. They've had like
I know, but the music and everything, like I never paid that close attention. The music actually on freaking point.
Doug's a fan. He's a fan. He a fan.
AI can do crazy stuff.
It can. It definitely can. So what do we do in the wake of this? Tragedy. We got a tragedy. Passing of Lindsey Graham. It was just an aortic situation in his living room. Nothing to see here. But what do we do? Ironically, Donald Trump screams from the heavens, Truth Social pounding his keyboard, I recommend to Governor Henry McMaster, Lindsey Graham's wonderful sister, Darlene, to serve as interim senator from the great state of South Carolina. This would be a fabulous tribute to Lindsey, who loved her dearly. President Donald J. Trump. I will tell you, I said this to Will yesterday. I looked at Will and I was like, can you believe the president suggested of all people, his sister? And Will goes, that's freaking ridiculous. They better not do that. And they probably will, and that'll just upset me. Well, I have to say, I thought it was a super outrageous suggestion, and why would that ever be a consideration until here's 2015, so 11 years ago, Lindsey Graham suggested, in the rare occasion this were to ever happen, that's exactly who he'd want appointed.
Close with your sister Darlene, correct?
Yes, I'm. So of all the
There it
things
goes.
that have happened in my life,
we shared the same dolls.
Her turning out so well is the highlight of it by far, because she was 13, lost both of her parents. She's got two daughters, one 21, one 6, and she's made an incredible life for herself. And when she got up there and introduced me, it was just about all I could do to speak.
If you are elected president, you'd be the first since James Buchanan to be a bachelor in the White House.
That's what I've been told.
So what role would she play in the White House, if any?
Well, she would be a support network for me. I hadn't really thought much about it, but at the end of the day, whatever I asked her to do, she would do. And if she took a role on, she would be a great representative of our country. I can't think of a better person to represent our country in an event than my sister. But at the end of the day, I think America can handle this. I want to be able to say, everybody can grow up to be president, even if you're single. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what you are. You're just single. Just single, guys. We could have taken this topic down some really weird turns, but I don't want to, amplify things that could be totally untrue. But the amount of people that have come out making claims that now that he's passed, the NDAs that have been locking their lips have gone away. And we've had some trans people that have come out saying that they were young partners of his and that they're part of the reason, he's part of the reason they're trans now, the whole thing. I didn't want to bring too much light to it, but it's just one of those, like, there's a quirky background there, and you're supposed to just not think about it. You're supposed to just keep your head down and keep moving. That being said, Lindsey got his wish.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear?
This happened today. So his sister, Darlene Graham, to be sworn in as South Carolina senator. Weird. She shares the same last name. Is she also single? I guess so.
I mean, it is the South.
Anyway, he got what he wanted, and there is no such thing as democracy, just nepotism and American royalty. It stays within the family because, God's chosen people they don't want to have to blackmail everybody. Keep the network tight. Then we just got to control certain people. Anyway, speaking of the war that Lindsey Graham was totally not taken out in, he was there, but he made it home. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, here is an interesting perspective that you don't really hear anywhere else. RFK Jr. explains the Ukraine war in a way that you have not seen a politician do before.
This is a war that should have never happened. It's a war that Russians tried repeatedly to settle on terms that were very, very beneficial to Ukraine and us. The major thing they wanted was for us to keep NATO out of the Ukraine. The big military contractors want to add new countries to NATO all the time. Why? Because then that country has to conform its military purchases to NATO weapon specifications, which means certain companies, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, and Lockheed, get a trapped market. In March of 2022, we committed $113 billion. Just to give you an example, we could have built a home for almost every homeless person in this country. We then committed another $24 billion since then, 2 months ago, and now President Biden's asking for another $60 billion. But the big, big expenses are going to come after the war, when we have to rebuild all the things that we destroyed.
Classic.
Mitch McConnell was asked, can we really afford to spend $113 billion?
Mind you, the movie Cheney showed you that's exactly what Dick Cheney did for Afghanistan and Iraq.
Ukraine. He said, don't worry. It's not really going to Ukraine.
It's going to American defense manufacturers.
So he just admitted it's a money laundering scheme. And who do you think owns every one of those companies? BlackRock. So Tim Scott, during the Republican debate, said, don't worry, it's not a gift to Ukraine, it's a loan. So raise your hand if you think that that loan's ever getting paid back. Yeah, of course it's not. So why do they call it a loan? Because if they call it a loan, they can impose loan conditions. And what are the loan conditions that we impose on? Number one, an extreme austerity program, so that if you're poor in Ukraine, you're going to be poor forever. Number two, most important, Ukraine has to put all of its government-owned assets up for sale to multinational corporations, including all of its agricultural land, the biggest single asset in Europe. In Ukraine, there's been 1,000 years of war fought over that land. It's the richest farmland in the world. It's the breadbasket of Europe. 500,000 kids almost, Ukrainian kids, have died to keep that land as part of Ukraine. They almost certainly didn't know about this loan condition. They've already sold 30% of it. The buyers were DuPont, Cargill, and Monsanto.
DuPont.
Who do you think owns all of those companies? Yeah, BlackRock. And then in December, President Biden gave out the contract to rebuild Ukraine. And who do you think got that contract? BlackRock. So they're doing this right in front of us. They don't even care that we know anymore, because they know that they can get away with it. And how do they know that? Because they have a strategy. And that strategy is an old strategy, which is they keep us at war with each other.
Bingo.
They keep us hating on each other.
Bingo.
They keep the Republicans and Democrats fighting each other, black against white, and all these divisions that they sow.
Perfectly said. And so with that, let's do some math here. Boomer math, if any. Was Biden a constitutional conservative? Of course not. So you'd say the more you side with him, the more Democrat you are. Definitely. Massey voted with Biden 1.8% of the time, and Graham voted with him 70% of the time. Okay, so which one would have been the rhino? Easy, Thomas Massey. I mean, that's just exactly what we're dealing with. And we wonder why it continues to repeat itself. Like I said, like RFK Jr. said, because they're much more consumed by fighting each other over race, politics, what's dangling between their legs, or who they share the boudoir with. So we close it out with our condolences. Sad moments in America. Don't go celebrate this at Disney with child pom-poms and child toys, because that would be weird. Anywho, let's transition. The one little pivot kind of stemming from all of this is it is weird when Vladimir Putin has a message for America, and I'd say at least consistently for the last year, if not last couple years, he's speaking to us in our hearts more than our own darn representatives. Here, you know what? I'm going to try to read it as our translator here. So I'm going to keep that a little low. Start it over. I want ordinary citizens of Western countries to hear me too. You are currently being persistently persuaded that all your difficulties are the result of some hostile actions by Russia, that you must pay for the fight against the mythical Russian threat out of your own pockets. Let me turn this down just a little bit more. All of this is a lie. The truth is that the current problems faced by millions of people in the West are the result of years of actions by the ruling elites of their countries. Their mistakes, short-sightedness, and ambition. These elites thinking about how to improve the lives of their citizens instead of improving their lives in these Western countries. They are obsessed with their own selfish interests and super profits.
He isn't wrong.
I don't know. That seems pretty fable to me. Come on. He hates us. He hates Americans. And, bad guy. He's the bad guy. Don't you know that? Here's an American in Jim Jeffries' office just a couple days ago. But again, Putin isn't representing our opinions. Our representatives are, right, Jim Jeffrey? Jim Jordan?
Say, as somebody some of us are former Republicans, some current Republicans. I want to say, as a straight white man who grew up in the South in a Baptist church and NASCAR dad, and I'm not a beta boy snowflake. I can show anybody that wants me to show them. We all want the Republican Party to stop committing political suicide to save a dying pedophile. It's really fucking embarrassing at this point, and we're just humbly asking that you guys would start being regular adults again, and let's argue about things like infrastructure and healthcare, and not a dying pedophile with cankles tripling his net worth at the expense of the American people. Because that's what this is. And we can all pretend that he's a bald eagle Jesus patriot, but he's not. And no amount of bullshit pretending will make him that. And it's time to stop. It's time to stop embarrassing yourselves and lowering yourself.
I mean, who do you think's representing that classic American more? Jim Jordan, Trump's butt puppet, or Putin? Bet you never thought we'd be saying that in the future of America, but here we are, 2026. Boy, the future is bright. All right. I don't want to end our political conversations here with so much doom and gloom as if there's nobody doing the bidding of America. I want to end with some good things that came out of this week, some good American politics. And it seems to only ever come from the Maha movement, because we're fat and trashy. And at least, that's one realm. Even the Goy slop, they can't. RFK Jr. is allowed to do his own bidding. He's the only one that's actually getting shit done. So first, I'd like to start with the Attorney General's office talking about subpoenas that are coming out for bleached chemicals in food that I'm sure would shock you, and the big brands that are going to be affected. Wait till the end of this clip. I'm sure you're going to be surprised. But boy, it feels good watching accountability knock on the door. Subpoenas are coming.
Potassium bromate has been classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as Group 2B, possibly carcinogenic to humans. There's been sufficient evidence of ties to kidney, thyroid, and abdominal cancer. It is a genotoxic, causing oxidative stress. It's been linked to DNA damage and other cellular harms. Again, it's not something that we want to risk when it comes to our kids. It's been proven that acute high-dose exposure could possibly lead to kidney damage as well as hearing loss. So today, this is, again, just the initial aspect of an investigation. Nobody is getting sued today yet. We want to learn more information. We will be issuing subpoenas to companies that do buy and sell products with potassium bromate in them. We will be starting with General Mills and their subsidiary Pillsbury. The list will likely go on from there.
Oh, baby food and cookies. That's cool. That's been having poison this whole time. Hey, if there's a silver lining, the government's part of the government's finally going to do something about it. On the flip side of that, one last cool piece coming out of the Maha movement. Here is RFK Jr. He is creating an initiative coming out of today. This is some excitement coming out of today. Creating an initiative that will pay doctors to get people off of drugs. There's so many lobbyist companies that are paying doctors incentives to put your asses on drugs. Well, here is a government attempt at balancing that by paying doctors to get your ass off the drugs.
As the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services is issuing billing guidance that allows clinicians to get paid for de-prescribing work for the first time. Care plan.
That's pretty badass. I didn't even think that was in the cards, but now that we're here, I'm pretty excited by it. What do you think, Doug?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, speaking of that, I'm kind of disappointed in our main man, Brad Richardson.
How dare you?
Because, look, he's already dugging it up. Brad Richardson had to go and watch. I haven't even pushed the button yet, but I'm about to push it, and you're going to watch Doug. So I guess there's one more silver lining that comes out of today. Brad Richardson is equally as excited. I have to say I am not. But Doug, did you catch this comment here? One more exciting thing. What about the daylight savings no longer existing? Now it passed today.
Yeah, I said that to Alex earlier. He goes, I don't care at all. I'm like, screw you.
I like daylight savings. I'm sorry.
You like changing your time twice a year?
It's that hard for you? Not to mention,
I don't like my sleep being effed up.
Okay, my oven is the only thing I have to change, and my microwave. Everything else is connected to the internet.
Well, not
and automatically
is
updates.
That connected, Alex. All right, some of us.
What else do you have to change? No, seriously, stop being dumb. What else do you have to change?
Stove.
Those are literally the two things I just listed. You are a dumbass.
Clocks. No, you just said stove, and not to mention my sleep. I'd like to just have one set time for the rest of my life. Damn it. Is that so hard? Like,
wait, Doug, you don't have the ability to go to bed at 10 o'clock when it's still 10 o'clock?
I want one goddamn time for the rest of my life, all right? I would love not having to change my everything for twice a year because of some stupid, outdated notion.
What's outdated about? Like, what?
Farmers don't need more daylight. We got technology now, damn it.
Yeah, because you can grow your tomatoes outside with a lamp, right?
I think with the machines, there's no need to worry about kids working the field.
This has nothing to do with kids in the field, Doug.
That was what daylight saving was all about.
No, that's a piece of it, but even more so, that like the modern reason for it is because we need to keep your hamster ass going to work. And yes, the modern masses like Doug all get to roll out of their bed and then go work on their couch. But the purpose of daylight savings was to make life more livable for the people that have to drive to work at 7 a.m. when it's black dark like it's midnight. So the key was to make it at least a little brighter when it's the heart of winter. So that way the hamsters that have to drag their ass to work every day don't hate their existence and revolt against the class that is the lords above us.
It was still always dark driving to work, regardless of the time change. And we have freaking cars with modern technology and streetlights now. I still don't see the point.
Brad Richardson, you're right. It is that now you'll just get to come home and it'll be bright. But the key was, the only reason for it was to prevent revolt and make the grind of a 5-day or 7-day. It used to be more than 5 days until Ford changed that. But it was, we need to keep them in the routine of going every day and not questioning it. And when you are waking up and it's black dark, you begin that question, why the hell am I doing this? And they can't really afford for that to be the case. Now, the benefit will be you will get to come home and it won't be midnight. It's still going to be dark. The heartache of that period, the winter time, hence why we do daylight savings to begin with, that period, you're really missing the daylight to begin with. Yeah, it's a little brighter when you drive to work, but it's dark when you come home. It's still dark, and it's not going to, anyway, it's not livable. That's why I'm like, you know what? Throw these folks a bone. Let the morons like Doug get what they want, because he can't even explain himself. You go, convince me. Convince me. And he just goes, I don't, he just yells. He just goes decibels louder. Gives you literally nothing. And so I think these folks need to live one winter where they don't get the change. The problem is Doug won't really experience it because his experience will be totally different or totally the same no matter what. It's working from home.
Even
That's
better
remote
now.
work.
Now I have a garage.
Your
I don't
life
even have
won't
to clean my car.
Right. You're not at your parents'
It's
house.
even worse.
Sure. But the reality beyond that is, let the folks that work a 9 to 5 at a building experience the lack of change. And I bet you society realizes, oh, I see the value of it. It's not a make or break thing, but I also think people are going to wake up to like, oh, I see the value of it. Yeah, this kind of sucks. But again, it's not the end all be all, and we'll probably keep it that way then. But Doug, you got what you want. See, a silver lining. Brad Richardson was right. He threw a match in the gasoline can and we blew it up.
Boom.
Let's close this episode out with just a few little topics here. You know, we've got one of them's a little bit more dense. I've been excited to break it open with Doug, but we got some updates, and one update that just should bring a smile to your face. Spry like he's 18 again. Can we just appreciate Afro Man out here just jiving like he's... I mean, look at this guy move.
He moves better than us.
The definition of on top of the world. Like, look at the MC. You wouldn't want it at any other master ceremonies. In this big drapey, American flag suit, and he's moving better than the kids are. I don't know. Kudos to him, because it just, that warms me up more than anything else we got coming out of this episode. I want to touch upon one last thing that we had last week. The no disc debate, right? So Sony's going totally digital. They're not going to have disc video games anymore. And the internet was appalled. Well, I wanted to balance the dialogue because Doug and I were very heavy against, the change with nostalgia, but then also, hey, you'll own nothing and like it. Kind of feels like you're forcing us into this world where we really don't own it. We're just getting a license to play.
It's like paying rent forever.
Right. And so, the argument was very weighted one way. And I want to balance that with a other consideration that I think kind of grounds us in, maybe this isn't the end of the world.
This guy says it perfectly. Why aren't people freaking out about having to buy the same game twice if one is broken? Didn't you own the license to that game?
Did you catch that, Doug?
I did, and that's
we've
all
huge.
Experienced that.
We've all experienced it. Your sister scratched the disc and it doesn't work anymore, and then you have to go back and buy another one. That isn't the case with a digital copy. You have the license for it. And you could I have a couple Xbox Ones, and so I can play it on this one. I can play it on that one. Just like I'd move the disc from each one, I just can download it on each one.
The disc that you purchased, surely that means you should be able to take your disc in and just grab another one off the shelves for free, right?
Nope.
Because physical disc equals ownership, right?
Mm.
Right? You own the game. You could do whatever you want with it, right? The disc that you purchase is a license. I've been saying this for like 2 weeks. This is I hadn't thought of explaining it this way. That's very succinct. What does it cost the company making the discs? $1? You bought that game, you own it. Only it's broken, and now you have to buy it again.
Boom.
And this is Betty Egg over on Twitter. The thing that's so hilarious about this whole conversation, none of my digital games have ever broken, and I have yet to purchase the same game twice like I did multiple times for my Sega Genesis and PlayStation and Xbox. It drives me crazy how hard people are trying to push others into hysteria over misinformation.
I mean, it's a pretty fascinating point, and I kind of agree with that. That kind of kiboshes the whole argument. It's like if ownership is the way the internet is arguing it, then you should be able to walk in the store and go, I broke my disc. I'd like to turn it in and get a new one. I own access to the game. I own the game. But instead, no, you just own that product. And when that product doesn't work or becomes problematic, you have to get another one. Whereas this is a legitimate license, no matter what device, how old, whatever. You can't break it.
Until they cut off your access.
But that's a license. That's how a license works. So if we turn it off, we turn it off.
But a license.
But as long as it's on, you have access to it.
If you buy something, you buy something. If you rent something, a license, a streaming service, an online subscription to Xbox Live, that is renting it. That is where I expect them. Okay, you can take it away at any time. But if I buy it, I expect to be played forever, whether or not you want to maintain that server or whatever.
Right. And that comment only really gets delivered on through digital media. That is not the case with a physical disc, because when it's broken, it's gone. And if you want it fixed or a new one, you got to pay for it. But Brad Richardson says only Sony would replace it. Solo licenses replacement don't count. It is interesting. You know, the bias leans towards PC gamers, but even more so, of course, Microsoft, Xbox people love jumping in on, well, that would never happen with us. We did talk a little bit about Asha Sharma and, the H-1B issues around her and everything else. Well, this came out this week too. Just another important note with Xbox. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma is now an official advisor for the U.S. Federal Reserve. She's leading a task force to address employment and productivity in the United States and will directly influence government decisions. Off of the back of closing out 1,600 jobs in Microsoft to bring in 3,000 H-1B visas.
Not to mention, I thought we tried the same thing with the Doge, and people fought that with Musk. So what, we're just going to let Microsoft come in, do the same damn thing, decide you're irrelevant, you're fat, let's cut the fat.
Well, she's not cutting the fat of employees at the reserve.
She's there to maximize and all that, improve whatever you said it was. That probably means cutting some of the fat.
She's there to address employment and productivity in the U.S.
Usually that
not
means
at the Federal Reserve.
Fat.
Nobody's being fired at the Federal Reserve. This is to address employment and productivity in the United States, because she's having a major impact on that when she goes and fires 1,600 employees at Microsoft to hire 3,000 H-1B users. Anyway.
So is this a government employee to get her to try and keep more U.S. employees?
No.
No connection.
We've reached a point where it will be hard to imagine that mass audiences can afford thousands of dollars to spend on a console generation. I think we will start to see radically different business models that we never expected start to come into orbit later this year. We will continue to look at new business models, I think is what is needed for console, rather than just the most premium, high performance console in the world.
So, Brad Richardson, what is that saying on balance to the Sony situation? Is that we're going to be making consoles that are going to be unaffordable anymore. So we're going to have to change, that relationship with the consumer. We're going to have to change our marketing scheme. This is going to pivot now, most likely not to cheaper consoles and cheaper manufacturing designs. No. Because the tech is just getting better and stronger. They're going to become more expensive, but less accessible to you, which means, just back to Brad Richardson's point when he was talking about discs, the move here, it's all going to be like Blockbuster, and you're going to be renting the console. That way, if you miss a payment, we're going to take that bitch from you, and now we're going to just skyrocket the cost. I just got an Xbox with no CD holder, and I was like, whoa, I always want a disc insert. They're going to let this, we're going to get rid of that so it could be cheaper and more effective for you. I paid $200 for this Xbox. I thought I was a winner. This is cheap, and it's its highest quality, high definition, fast moving, quickest RAM. And yet here we are, and we're going to make it more expensive to the point where you have to rent. What do you got, Doug?
No, I was going to say, like, literally before you said your point of renting the console and reading that was literally my thought. Is like Cox Cable. My parents have Cox Cable. They pay for the cable, but they have to rent the boxes in order to be able to actually use the cable. And it's like, okay, so now I'm going to have to rent an Xbox, which I'm going to, just like parents get to pay for cable, it's going to be the Xbox Live subscription, and you're basically going to have to rent this shit. But then just like anything else, when you rent it long enough, you would have been better off buying it.
You're so right. God, it makes me sick, but that's where we're going. You're going to own nothing, and you're going to be happy. That's just the world that's why you're seeing.
I swear Microsoft Office was the first example. Like, there were streaming services, but Microsoft Office went, you know what? You're no longer buying this and getting everything for that price. No, now if you want updates and support, you got to pay your monthly Office subscription. And that was the first thing. I remember in college, we bought our laptops for college. We had our Microsoft Office, and we had it forever. And then it was like right after we graduated college, they're like, no, you're going to have to start paying a monthly subscription for your Office. And it's like, that is bullshit.
Yeah, like
for years they'd send you a disc and you'd install the program, and you would get updates from online. And now it's like, nope, rent. We want your money. You don't own it.
Like Brad Richardson said, everything in life in 10 years is going to be a subscription, and that's just how it's going to be.
I'll never rent my car.
I'm not even going to touch that.
Hey, that's if we're going to rent everything. No, I'm not renting my fucking car. I use that too often.
The whole world does.
Yeah.
What do you think leasing is?
I don't lease.
Yeah, you don't. That is the vast majority of commercial car dealing. Okay. I'm almost at Doug overload, so we're on the last bit here. I have to address it. I know you've seen this on the internet. It made a lot of waves this past week, but at the same time, it's too close to home. Literally, it is way too close to home to not bring into the show. So I found some of the most exciting and clear angles. You've seen clips of it online, but have you seen the full story? Here is the Rampage Road Rage van that took a golf course by storm here in Ohio.
Oh my God!
And it was such a course too.
5 stars. Look at this. I mean, a whole fleet.
And the
Go get him, boys! Go get him, boys! Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's have a gun.
Just a bunch of kids following in their golf carts. That would be pretty
My buddy
hilarious.
actually had a tee time there. He hadn't gone out yet, but they were telling everybody to turn around and leave. Like they were loading up their golf cart ready to go. And I'm like, did you see anything? He's like, no, we weren't out there, but they told us they were closed for the rest of the day.
Whoa.
Like basically the tee time. And anyone that was out there, apparently they sent a ranger and told everybody to like leave. Like they had to leave the course while all this was going on. Then they closed it down for a while too.
That is insane. So like Doug said, here in Cleveland, one of the local golf courses, Foxton, had an interesting situation.
Holy shit, it's coming right at us.
Where
right through the trees. Bold move.
Where there was a car chase across this is right at the front of the golf course, but he's going to the back. We've got clips in the back too, but I mean, this chase goes across like the whole golf course.
I'd be doing.
Look at the guy in the golf cart, like chasing.
Yep, I'd be doing that. I
paid
for exercise and rented the cart and to be out on this course. Damn it, I'm getting a show.
And then you're gonna get tased.
Yeah, I'd get tased.
For inserting yourself in a cart police chase.
Look how far back that dude is. He ain't getting tased.
Serious Doug overload.
Holy
I love all the angles. Every hole.
Holy shit. Watch out.
Just imagine, like, you're trying to have a relaxing round of golf and, like, talk about shaking things up. I mean, going home with a little bit of action. So did we just do this one?
Bro, what the
Yeah, so this is the back of the course, and I think this one's my favorite gameplay reaction.
Bro, what the fuck?
That was a tee shot. Hit him. Do it. Come on.
They
tee
gonna
off.
get you, boy!
They gonna get you, boy!
It's going down the cart path, too.
Holy shit! Bro, that's fucking wild!
This is when you want to have meta glasses when you're golfing.
Yeah. What a reaction. I mean, unique experience to say the least, but it went from the golf course. They've tracked him following flock cameras through a neighborhood, and were able to finally stop him and lock him down. Here's one of the neighborhood goers.
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh!
He's like, they're right there.
Literally.
Crap! Oh! Oh,
Jeez.
my goodness!
That's crazy. They did end up getting the guy. Like I said, they had tracked him down following him through flock cameras. But, join us on Sunday mornings. We do a reaction show. Wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, and get a break from the political and social chaos. That being said, get a little flavor of what a Sunday looks like with Doug and I, where it's our reaction show. Doug, I have not watched this yet, so this is a little bit of a surprise to me too. But the bonus footage to all the different golfer angles that we have lined up, the bonus footage I have for us, and you and I can react to it as it unfolds, is here's the dash cam of the event.
Yes. TMZ, buddy. Yes.
Come up to
All an ass.
corporate
Terrace
Road. We're going to be going through this red light here. Oh, this will be at Bad 31. Bad 31. Bad 31!
Oh!
Whoa!
Shots fired! Shots fired!
What?
Shots fired! Shots fired!
He did just blindly fire.
Yeah.
I, I don't like that.
I lost sight of 6. I lost sight of 6. He ran westbound. Westbound. Westbound at Terex. I'm going to stay with my cruiser for now.
Pulling into the Fox 10 golf course. He's on the course.
Bro, what did I just watch? Honest to God, dude, I'm sitting here like, oh, shoot. I got a video from a different situation, and it must have been mislabeled, and I didn't notice it.
No, he stole multiple cars.
No, it's that is the ending of this situation, and they kind of they skipped ahead. It's, you know, how the internet entices you to keep watching. I am shocked that's how this situation ends. But anyway, this is the mouth of the golf course right at the entrance. So let's pick up as there's the van. You can see it there in the left side there. Let's start with like the actual chase.
Fox 10 golf course. He's on the course. Fox 10 golf course. He is on the course.
I remember that.
It's crazy the amount of times I've just casually been kicking around that parking lot. And now they're just driving cars across this well-groomed grass.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, if I was a groundskeeper there, I'd be so
cringing.
mad. I want him to have to work the field.
Local police, state patrol. I have shanked many a drive on this hole right here.
I was going to say they'd have to watch out if I was at the tee box.
I think you'd hear them coming. Well, but
doesn't
Doug
mean
would still drive. That's
I was going to say, doesn't mean I still wouldn't hit. I paid.
Yeah, pretty accurate.
I paid.
Yeah,
Cop ain't gonna stop me.
That's the brain capacity of Doug. That's what we got here.
I paid. I earned it.
Yeah, that's what you got. You earned hitting a golf ball into a cop. I'm going to quote you on that.
Maybe I hit the bad guy. You never know. Because you never know where I'm going to go.
Yeah, because that's what you would hear. The sirens of the bad guy. Doug will argue himself into sheer stupidity just because he cannot do anything but double down. That's his only move. That's the only thing he's got.
I just love watching this. The dude drove down the carpet. Like, he was a good driver.
Respectable. You know,
until here.
Until I go through.
Yeah, I was going to say, up until there, you're driving down.
Imagine this is your house. You're like, shit, there are 6 cop cars now.
And now I got to reseat.
This is where we saw the guy in his garage. We know at the corner of this street is when they're going to bang him. Oh, wow. Uh-oh. This is insane.
Oh my God, almost got whacked by his own dude.
That was pretty close.
Hey, get a gun. Somebody go lethal. Somebody go lethal.
Somebody go lethal, he said.
You gotta get on the ground, bro. You gotta get on the ground.
Somebody needs to. Somebody needs to shoot in this neighborhood.
I was going to say, to be honest, I wouldn't want to carry a taser if he has a gun.
Don't move. Somebody cuff him. I got him.
This was insane.
Absolute craziness.
Check it. I ain't even going to get his hand. Right here. Put cuffs on the right.
Hey, you know what? Since we've got just a couple minutes here I'd like to close out the episode with it, just because I think it'd be funny. If you were to head to the Rethink Tank pod, you go to our YouTube channel, right? So you head to Rethink Tank on YouTube. I'm doing that as we speak. Our welcome page the homepage has a welcome video, and our welcome video, ironically, of course it's not, is a golf promotion. We made a music video that all the footage. So one of the cool things about this golf course is that you could use a golf cart, you could use a push cart, but another option is that you could rent a motorcycle where you put your golf bag in the middle and you ride your golf bag. So this Rethink Tank promo that we had from, I think, 2 summers ago was ironically filmed at Foxden. So let's get that off the side. There we go. All right, let's check her out. Let's rock these links.
Woman, I've been moving to your groove, and you got something I like. Yeah. What's your taste in music? Who's your boozer? Why'd you choose him? Get a bite. Yeah. Underneath the skin, it doesn't matter where you've been or what you're running from. Yeah. Underneath the skin, I'm just a mess, and I've been waiting for you. What's your taste in losing minds? I wanna chase you like I can. Oh yeah, baby girl, oh my baby girl. What's your taste in losing minds? I wanna chase you like I can. Underneath the skin, we ain't got nothing to hide. Underneath it all, we ain't so different inside. Yeah.
Check out the rest of that song and their new album by Quick Mystery coming out soon. But check out the rest of their album streaming on Spotify and all the other platforms. But guys, check out the Rethink Tank podcast. We're going to make you laugh. We're going to make you think. Enjoy some sports and social time too. But check it all out on our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. New episodes of the podcast every Thursday, live show every Tuesday. See you then. Oh, yeah. That's a pearl.
Last question. What is a quote that you live by?
Boy, a quote that I live by. I'm a Christian. I wear it on my sleeve, so quotes would probably always be Bible verses. I'll give you two. One is actually not in the Bible, it's more mythological, and one is actually in the Bible. The first is not in the Bible. It's "This too shall pass," which was actually, people think it's in the Bible, it's not. But it's King Solomon's phrase, which is really amazing when you think about it, because it's good no matter what season of life that you're in. If you're going through the worst of times, this too shall pass, and things are going to get better. If you're going through the best of times, though, it's really humbling. This too shall pass, and this will fade away, because this will not last forever. So I love that.
And they don't.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a time transcendent truth that applies towards all periods as an entrepreneur. It humbles you when you need it, it builds you up when you need it, gives you hope when you need it, and also gives you a little bit of a dose of a gut check. One of my favorite verses, though, is Romans 8:28, which says that God works all things for good for those who love him. It's a very freeing and liberating verse for those of us that are Christians, because we believe that when things can be really bad, God is working it for his good, his perfect and pleasing will, which is a very, very hard teaching when you come across business closures or staff layoffs. But it's very liberating that God is working all things towards an ultimate good. So I love that, and it kind of is very freeing that I don't have to be in charge of everything. And there is a God, and I'm not him, and I surrender to his will.
Cheers, Brad. I appreciate you letting us know. I forgot that our mics were muted when we went off to the promo video there. But yeah, what better words to close out with than Charlie Kirk? One of the comments I made that you had missed there was, if you want to get coverage of the trial, we'll have bits of it, but that's not going to be here. That's for another show. You could go check out Ian Carroll or Candace Owens or whoever you get it from. But just know I ain't believing anything that's going on in that trial. However, if there is a positive way to close this episode out, it is the optimism of Charlie Kirk. And I think that was a perfect quote to kind of bury the despair that the system has been kind of leaving us with. So, this too shall pass. Good, bad, the ugly. We're going to see it all. And don't let it define your now. We appreciate you guys joining us. We made you laugh. We made you think. The best thing you could do to support the show is hit that like button. We appreciate everybody like Brad Richardson. We had Charlie, Cobert, Ops, a whole bunch of Bibbly, and a bunch of others in the comments. The whole purpose of live shows is to get you involved. We want to break out of our echo chambers, and we appreciate everybody that adds a little extra perspective to the dialogue by bringing in their thoughts and opinions. So we appreciate everybody that went into the comments. We do this show live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Sometimes I need a little extra time. I'm sorry, but we're here every Tuesday, no matter what. We also have a live show every Sunday. That one's always on time, and that's 11 a.m. Eastern time. Wake up, have a cup of coffee with us, and get a little break from the social and political chaos with some laughs and some fun. That being balanced with our podcast, the flagship show, and other shows. And if you're looking for one central place where you can find all of that, it's at our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. However, I did bring up the flagship podcast, and I want to end with something pretty cool. If you're new and you haven't checked out the podcast itself, please head on over to the Rethink Tank podcast. The video is here on this channel, but we're streaming on everywhere you get your podcasts. But our newest episode is with Kill Tony Golden Ticket winner and Cleveland local Martin Malloy. And boy, do we have some fun. Our King of the Frogs brings some laughs for us. So be sure to check it out. If where is it? I'm missing my frog sound effect. But anyway, Martin and I have a lot of fun conversation, and you don't want to miss it. So be sure to head on and over to check that out. But otherwise, guys, we appreciate you joining us. Like I said, new episodes each week. So we'll catch you next time. Peace.